There were times where we were disappointed that the script didn't play out exactly as we had fantasized, or imagined it happening.
Well, anything can happen. This is the thing in polyamory. Like, people move or they meet someone else, they become monogamous, they can be feeling you one day and then you're like vetoed the next and you're just like, what the hell is happening? My name is Abby and I'm the voice behind the Evolving Love Project. In this podcast, my husband and I deep dive into the topics of non-monogamy and polyamory, drawing from our experiences of being consensually non-monogamous for almost a decade.
And my name is Liam. Whether you're monogamous, polyamorous, curious, or anything in between, we invite you to join us for this conversation.
Let's begin.
Here we are, episode 43 of the Evolving Love podcast.
We've been going pretty well, posting every single week. I love it because It's a special time for you and I to check in and talk about all of the things.
All of the things. And talking about checking in, I finally succumbed and watched a movie that you have been raving about. And then did we start watching it together?
Well, I've watched it 3 times.
Okay.
I watched it when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is The Idea of You, starring Anne Hathaway.
Oh,
and
yes.
some hot babe who I'm yet to Google.
Okay.
I need to do that.
I did Google him.
Oh, you did?
I did. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
So we'll have to let the listeners Google who this absolute hunk is, who's been the cause of all your excitement.
He's a babe. Look, It's a very cheesy movie, but we absolutely love it.
Yeah. So give us a quick little rundown about what the movie's about.
Okay, spoiler alerts.
Yes.
So we've got.
You don't have to tell that. You don't have to tell the whole thing, but just like a little.
Well,
tease.
Anne Hathaway is darling Selene, who we love.
We do love.
She's 40. She's just turned 40. She's divorced.
Yes.
She has a 16-year-old daughter.
Yep.
She lives by herself. She's like owns a gallery. She's really cool. She's very like low key, down to earth. Anyway, she somehow ends up meeting by accident this hot superstar who's a singer in a boy band, loosely based off One Direction.
So
apparently,
think Harry Styles.
Harry Styles.
Yes.
They meet by accident at Coachella. He is 24 and sparks are just flying between them. And he's like obsessed with her.
And she's also kind of not been in the dating game.
She has not been dating. She's just like recovering from her divorce, blah, 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 focusing on herself. Love that for her. Then meets him and he just like flips her world upside down. And they have this like amazing whirlwind like romance.
They do.
And it's incredible. And the show touches on so many interesting themes. When I watched it for the first time, I was like, this is amazing. There's a lot of like woman coming into her sexuality, like almost feeling like she doesn't deserve to like have this pleasure or like have this connection with this guy who would be into her. Like she's very much like, I'm older, I'm a mom, like I could be your mom. And he's like, but I'm not, or like you're not, or
but
something.
You're not my mother.
That was so hot, the piano moment.
Oh, there's so many hot moments.
Jesus Christ.
And this was the fascinating thing for me was that I watched the first 20 minutes, like in the middle of the day, in between doing something, and then I really wanted to keep watching it. And we were watching it together, and it was so hot straight out of the gate, like the tension. And also Anne Hathaway is just such a hottie.
She's such a babe.
It's just the actual chemistry between the actors was just a lot. And every time she was on screen, I was like, she is so hot. This is insane.
Anne Hathaway is so hot. And I have actually chatted with Anne Hathaway before when I worked at the crazy boutique hotel in New York in 2014. That's
true.
Always full of celebrities.
Did you get her number just in case
I definitely
do a
did.
sneaky
I
little
definitely
DM
did not
slide?
get her number, but I was her waitress in 2014. She came in a number of times actually. Yeah, and she is gorgeous.
Well, I feel like she's like a fine wine. Like
She's a fine wine.
She is getting hotter and hotter. And this movie really plays on the fact that you can still be sexy and be, a lady in her 40s.
But also it's like 40 is so young.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like 40 is,
I'm
just
excited for you to
killing
be 40.
Anyway, it was so funny watching it. We watched it again the other night and
I finished it.
And you finished it. And when we
Yes.
started watching it again, you were like, oh my gosh, as if all of the like monogamous mums aren't like losing it over this movie.
I mean, I reckon there's a lot of I think there's a lot of women in general. I won't even say I feel like you don't have to be monogamous or non-monogamous to enjoy this movie. I think anyone needs to get their vibrator out, and this is the movie.
They
for
do.
it.
And
This
it's
is
cheesy.
I mean,
it's a cheesy movie.
You are literally squirming on the couch watching it.
Yeah, obviously. It's so hot.
And I am too. I feel like it's even though you know it is cheesy, like you're fully cognizant of the cheese factor, but then it still just taps into this like really hot, like kind of power play dynamic. There's kind of like this hot tension before they hook up, and it feels like it takes forever. And you're like, when are they going to do it? And
she's playing so hard to get. She's like, no, I couldn't. Like, I'm just a mom, and I just care about my daughter. And he's like, your daughter's away on camp for the whole of summer. What are you talking about? Come on tour with me.
Oh, and then they go on tour and have all these hot moments.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it is really hot.
Do you know that the other day I got a message from somebody who I've just recently started seeing, and he was like, I just watched this movie. And I was like, oh yeah, I feel like maybe there are a few similarities.
Well, yeah, he is a
like
pop star.
Our sort of
he's
situation.
in a boy band.
He's not in that. But I was like, there actually are similarities. I was sort of thinking about a few different things. And then he was like, yeah, I did think of that too, that there may have been some similarities.
Okay.
He's like a little bit younger than me.
I mean, we're not talking like 23 years old.
No.
Like the movie.
No, he's
so
like
he's not
31.
So he's not that much younger.
Yeah.
But it has a similar
I'm 36.
kind of. Yeah, okay. Little cougar vibes.
36 is not cougar vibes.
Oh, really?
Is it?
But isn't cougar
maybe.
Cougar is the relationship between the predator and the prey.
Oh my God, it sounds so intense. Gosh, didn't mean to be a predator.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what creates the cougar dynamic. Because technically, when we got together, I was 21 and you were 24.
Yeah, so I guess
so. You were kind of a cougar then.
Look, when I think of cougar, I think of Lisa Vanderpump. Obviously, she is like the
queen.
She's the queen of cougars. She's killing it. She's so hot. And also, there's a few of the women in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, just killing it. There's one in particular, season 1. Sorry, I'm very far behind.
No spoiler alerts. But I mean, I saw Lisa Vanderpump. I mean, these are deep cultural cuts here, but I saw Lisa Vanderpump the other day get asked a question about swinging. Have you seen this?
No.
So she gets asked a question about like swinging, and she says, "Oh, I'd be too jealous to be a swinger," because someone goes, "Have you ever swung with your husband?" It was a fascinating exchange.
They are like definitely swingers.
There's absolutely no way.
On no planet is Lisa
swingers.
Vanderpump not having sex with 25-year-old men.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just not possible. It's like she's like got to be.
That's part of the job interview for her restaurants, I think.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I want to go to those restaurants and be a waiter just for the job interview. I mean, you
just want to meet Lisa Vanderpump.
Oh, what a woman.
We need Evolving Love Project to take off.
Yes.
Just so that we can...
She can cater our event.
Oh, my God.
With her catering company.
Oh,
yeah,
but back to the movie.
Yeah. This movie is incredible. And the sad thing that I felt watching that movie, I think, was that it was one of those situations where you get to kind of live a life that is similar to the main character, Anne Hathaway's character, but it's completely ethical.
I know.
So she's having all this fun, and she's like, I shouldn't be having all this fun. I should be a mother. How could I possibly have all these sexy times? But it's like, she's coming from a really kind of dark place.
Well, it's not that it's unethical, because there's nothing unethical about their connection at all. It's more just her mum guilt is like she just can't shake the mum guilt, and she's feeling it. Well, she does shake it at different times, but it ultimately comes back. It definitely comes back to sort of haunt her. She doesn't have a Liam in her corner saying, go and have fun. Everything's fine. Like, you're an amazing mom. You're incredible. Like, live your life. Like, get on the plane. Go and see Loverboy. Oh. But it is interesting. There are definitely similarities. Like, I have caught a plane somewhere to have like a brief time.
A rendezvous.
With a lover. And I've like sat on the plane and had that like cheeky rush of like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, this is crazy. And I've just taken my handbag because I was just going for the night, and I traveled super light. And it's like, you know, all of the rush and the excitement and the like, this is just crazy because it's such a like flip from the regular day to day.
But then you don't have the shame.
But there's no shame.
There's of an affair and catching a flight.
No.
You know, imagine how different that flight would be if you have the eroticism of it, but then it's actually an affair, and then you have to kind of coexist with both things.
Yeah, that would be too much for me to bear. But look, I mean, there are people catching flights all over the place having affairs, but
actually, and speaking of pop culture references, I do want to give this a shout out because I've been really enjoying this recently. Is the new podcast that Carl Lentz and his wife have just put out about the affairs that he had. So Carl Lentz was the pastor for Hillsong before all these affairs came out, and he suddenly became the disgraced pastor of Hillsong. And it is a really incredible, I would say come to Jesus, but that's a bit on the nose. But it's this really incredible discussion between the two of them in a really honest way about why they decided to fight for their marriage with the infidelity, like even within the construct of the church. And it is, I think I want to get you to listen to it, and I think we should deconstruct it on another episode. God, I would love to have them both on. And she's Australian as well. But it's just a fascinating kind of, it goes against this whole kind of idea of, you know, certainly religious people, just when an affair happens, there's just no other option but to break up. And they talk about why they actually fought for their marriage and still feel a religious connection. Yeah, it's
very interesting.
It's very good.
Look, Liam, you've always had a little bit of an interest with Hillsong. I think it's the music.
Love Hillsong.
Okay, we have to just make it very clear.
Not that much.
You are not religious, nothing like that. I think you've always just been really impressed by like their production value for their concerts, the scale of their gigs.
Great musicians.
Actually, coming back to that hotel that I worked at in New York, there were 2 women who worked there, and they were members of Hillsong. And I remember when they were having their like huge conference, it was at Madison Square Garden, and they really wanted us to go. And like, you've always looked a little bit Hillsong rock star. Like people do say, like you've just got that sort of look.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't end up going, but I remember you really wanted to go. But I felt nervous because I was like, well, you know, we're away from home, we're in New York, we're going to go to Madison Square Garden. And it's like, it's undeniable that when there are that many people all together singing these beautiful harmonies, because the music is really, really moving and really well written, like just classic pop, like so heartfelt. And everyone's got their hand up and they're saying like, you know, sing it for God and like you're forgiven, and like people like thinking about all the dumb shit that they've done. And then this like person is there like, you know, forgiving them and like showing them a way, and everyone's singing together. It's like, that is like very intense, and it's like cult thinking, because people like in that environment, you are going to have a moving experience. Like, I'm not a religious person, but it's like, it's undeniable that many people together singing such beautiful music and being moved by it, it is a spiritual experience for sure. But like, what if people are there and they're like, actually, I think it was the Spirit moving me, and I'm going to say, now I'm going to sign up and I'm going to do all this.
10%.
You've got to pay 10% of your tidings and like all of this business. And then next minute you'll be like, yeah, but their music's really good. Like we should go for the music. And then we can't go to sex parties anymore because you've become Christian. So I was just like, I'm not.
I reckon there's plenty of Hillsong people at sex parties.
Of course there are.
Yeah.
They're oh my gosh. Or like they're like leaving Hillsong, or they've like, I don't know. They're like for sure. I just think when
they'd be great sex parties. I mean, Hillsong, it's a hot vibe.
Hillsong attracts, like, I think from some of the people that we know, and we have known a lot of Christian people, but I feel like the Hillsong people are like particularly charismatic and
fashionable.
Yeah. And when I think of these big Hillsong conferences, I'm like, isn't that just Christian husband hunting?
Maybe.
Like, it's just like where you go to like, like, isn't everyone getting all like turned on and like they're all looking hot and they're all got their like,
I mean, I'd be getting
amazing
turned on.
fashion.
I'd
You'd be
be
trying to have threesomes with everyone. I'd be like,
going,
Liam,
just
chill
give
out.
Give it up just for a day. Give up
Oh my God.
those vows of celibacy.
Spreading Satan's, what are you? Satan's, what did someone comment? You're Satan's puppet or something?
Oh, yeah. That was a nice comment about me.
Oh, no, you're Jesus without the morals. That's right. Yeah. Jesus without the morals, wandering around the Hillsong gig, trying to like get girls for us to have threesomes with.
Oh my God, that's the weirdest place to go unicorn hunting.
I know, but I feel like Abby and Liam 2014, we actually would totally do that.
Yeah.
We'd just be like, let's find a girl to have a threesome with.
At Hillsong. Yeah. Look. Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah. So anyway, that's tangential, but the moral of that story is that podcast is extremely interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out.
It is remarkable.
Would you want to listen to it again with me, or do I need to listen to it separately because we are going on a road trip tomorrow?
Oh, I'd listen to it again because it's one of those things where, I mean, he's such a complex character as well. And this is the interesting thing with Hillsong and often with cults is that when it becomes a cult of personality, like it all centers around these like extremely enigmatic, like very kind of engaging and hyper intellectual kind of pastors in this particular case. And it's hard to see through the veil of, is this like the world's best actor who got caught, then giving this amazing apology. But the apology reads incredibly, and it really is a textbook. Like, he's apologizing to his wife in the podcast, talking about all the ways in which it impacted on their lives, and it was a crazy story.
Beautiful.
Like, irrespective of what you think, whether you think that he's, just kind of saving face with his huge like public apologies, but that he makes no excuses at any point. They've obviously had the best counselors.
Did they get Esther?
Probably, I'm sure. I mean, they got plenty of money for it. So, but it's really remarkable, even as an example of how to publicly admit your wrongs.
Wow, so it feels more authentic than the guy from Ashley Madison, that other Christian guy who was like...
That guy from Ashley Madison should have taken a leaf out of Carl Lentz's book.
That guy from Ashley Madison is just not...
He's doing the podcast rounds.
No, yeah, he just recently went on the No Filter, the Mamma Mia one with his wife. But I mean, I just couldn't believe that part in the doco where he's like, yeah, well, when I saw the advert for Ashley Madison, it said, life is short, have an affair. And I thought, well, life is short. That's true. Like they've got that right. And then when I read have an affair, I thought, well, they were right about the first thing. So yeah, I mean, maybe they're right about that too. And I just thought, wow.
God, it is a worry.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, we have a bunch of Ask Me Anythings. I put a little thing on my Instagram the other day. I made it anonymous, which is always more fun.
Yeah.
Get a nice mixed bag.
Yeah, and people feel comfortable.
They do. I got some really cute messages too. Like one person wrote in and said, my friends think you're really cute. And I'm like, well, who is that? Who said that? And who are their friends?
It's all dependent on that, isn't it?
Do I think that they're cute?
Yeah.
Do they think I'm cute?
Who knows if you're listening to this?
The messages were directed to me because it was on my Evolving Love Instagram, which is like I run it, but it is ours where we post all of our podcast stuff too.
Yeah. But so that was interesting. So if you're listening to this and you said that all your friends think Abby is cute, let us know who you are.
Send me a message. Another person said, my friend always talks about you. Who's that?
Yeah, that was interesting.
I want to know who that person is.
Yeah. Again, reach on out. But we're going to start with the first Ask Us Anything question. How do you and Liam get back into dating other people after you've had a break from it? My husband and I have had a non-monog pause and are ready to get back out there.
Amazing. So this is sort of like a how do you meet people?
Well, or how do you transition from being in non-monogamous situations, pausing it, not being non-monogamous, kind of going into, maybe it's, who knows, it could be due to kids, it could be due to any kind of life circumstances, but now they're ready to venture back out into the wild. How do they go? And I feel like you probably have some interesting insights into this because you had a little pause in dating and now you're getting, you're getting back out there a little.
Yeah, I do actually go through big pauses in my dating. And I feel like for me, but usually it's due to not necessarily finding or connecting with someone who I'm really vibing with. So definitely I'm of the mindset where it's like I don't always have to be practicing non-monogamy. It's just I'm more open than searching. But when I do feel like getting back out there, for me, I mean, just bite the bullet. Like just, you know, go on the apps if there's someone who you connect with, or if there's like friend of a friend, or letting friends know. If you have non-monogamous friends, saying, look, I'm ready to date. If you know anybody who you think would like me, please like put us in touch or connect us. I think that's a really nice way. And there's a bit of like someone in the middle. You know, they're vouched for. That's really important for me these days, is that it's not like not a total unknown. Like I think my days of like going on a date with like a total stranger are probably come.
Especially monogamous, like Hinge.
Oh
type.
no. Yeah, that's done. That's like that's not an option.
Never say never.
Okay, well, never say never, I guess. But they need to be verified somehow.
Yeah.
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 So asking through friends is really good. Obviously the apps, Field, all of that.
Well, I would say.
And meetups.
Yeah.
Social gatherings, like anywhere where there's like, you know, obviously like we run conversation nights in Canberra and in Sydney, although we have been so busy lately, we haven't been able to run our Sydney one for a couple of months. But basically anywhere where there is some sort of like meetup happening, and there are meetups in every single city. There are like non-monogamous things happening, so you can always meet people.
Well, one thing you said interestingly before, and something that I think is a really great way to kind of get back out there, is actually to, if you do or already have pre-existing partners that you maybe have been non-monogamous with in different situations before, is actually, you know, getting back into exploring non-monogamy with those people.
Yes.
You know, like those people, especially if you've communicated that you've taken this pause and you have gone into more of a monogamous space. I certainly know with some of our friends where that has happened before, and they've been pre-existing kind of partners of ours, that as soon as they come off their monogamous pause and they go, actually, guys, we're actually, do you want to hang out? Like, this could be a thing. Like, we're so eager, and other people in the same situation, that, you know, friends of ours who've expressed this, people are so eager to kind of reconnect with friends in that kind of way, if everything aligns, of course. And so that is a great place to start, I feel like, is just reconnecting with old connections.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I did when, like, after I had our son. So the first ever partner who I dated separately to you, a man, we were seeing each other before I was pregnant, like maybe a couple of years before. He's amazing, or a year before. I can't remember exactly what the timeline was. But then after we had our son, and maybe when I was starting to like think about dating again, I felt really comfortable with him because I already knew him. He was really wonderful and was a dear close friend of ours. So when it came time to dating again, I was like, actually, would you like to go on a date with me? You know, the hours might be a little bit shorter, and at weird times we might have to be flexible because I am, you know, a breastfeeding mom and all of that. I think our son was maybe 6 months. And it was amazing because I knew him. I felt comfortable. I was able to just like go and meet him, and like we caught up in a bar and had such nice chats and a really great time. And then, yeah, it was really awesome. And you just took our son out for a little walk. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of kind of restarting, rekindling those fires with those connections.
Yeah. And
often those connections can deepen even more, you know, once things kind of kick off again. It's like this beautiful kind of return back to that initial kind of sparks.
Exactly.
So yeah, maybe you can start at all of the above. Lots of ideas, but exciting that you're getting back out there, and great that you also had the awareness to chill things out a little bit before getting back out there as well.
Things ebb and flow.
Yes, exactly. Okay, next Ask Us Anything question. How do you communicate you want more than friends with benefits? I'm finding that poly men don't put as much energy into a secondary relationship, and it becomes more of hooking up and dates and nothing deeper. Yeah. So how do you communicate you want more than friends with benefits? Well, I would say, I'll jump in. first, I would say that the best way to communicate it is to communicate it.
Yeah.
Is to actually just say explicitly to the person that you're potentially dating this is what I'm looking for. And this is what, just so there's no, I guess there's no way to misinterpret someone's intentions.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also making sure that the people who you are dating are like genuinely polyamorous if you're looking for that kind of connection and they're not just like single guys. Like single and dating is like very different to polyamorous. And you can really, you pick up on it like straight away.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely feel for you. But yeah, as you said, it's like definitely just communicating that.
To keep on listening to this premium episode of the Evolving Love podcast, you can sign up to our premium subscriber feed at evolvingloveproject.substack.com.
Paid subscribers receive 2 extra podcast episodes each month and access to my full writing archive. So if you would like to gain exclusive access, you can sign up at the link in the show notes or at evolvingloveproject.substack.com.